Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. And this last week I've been spending time with the 2022 Acura RDX. This is Acura's best-selling model, and it's not really any surprise why, because so many people are buying compact crossovers these days. So not only is there a demand, but Acura really did a pretty darn good job with it. It's pretty inoffensive. I mean, the styling's a little aggressive. Maybe if that's not quite what you're going for, then you might be a bit disappointed with it. But other than that, I mean, RDX does quite a lot of stuff pretty darn well. It really is the luxury Accord, if you will, or the luxury Honda CR-V. So let's go around and talk about why. Pretty practical rear area here. You have your metal tie downs. I know those are pretty important to some people, although they actually might be a very hard plastic. Not 100% sure those are metal. Bring this up. Big old center storage area. I know a lot of people like that underfloor storage. And then it comes up right there, and you got even more. A lot of people like to use those for things like blankets or jumper cables, emergency packs. A lot of good things there. And it's been nice reviewing this week because we've had a lot of compact crossovers recently. We've had the Lexus NX 350h. We've had the Genesis GV70. We've also got the BMW X3 this week that Chris is reviewing. So it's kind of cool to be able to compare all the little differences. It's almost as though I wish we could have them all at once. Big old subwoofer for the ELS Studio 3D system. If you want to see more on that, check the link in the description. I really like the colors the RDX comes in too. I like this really vibrant blue, and then there's also an aggressive red that they have. And the styling's a little bit tweaked for 2022 as well. Little subtleties here and there around the car just to kind of make it look a little more modern. I think it looks nice. This is the most advanced A-spec trim with all the technology package and all the goodies, including this really cool interior color. I really dig this. The mixture of the black, it's very soft Alcantara material here, and then the really cool white there. Getting on in, cool speaker grills, nice leather feel. Everything's very solid. That's one of the most impressive things to me when I got in the RDX. It's the solid feel of everything. Everything feels really high quality, and it's kind of a different high quality feeling than maybe something like the Lexus. The Lexus does feel more luxurious, but this feels more well put together and confident. Even if we get up here in the front and start it up. Get our cooled seat going, some air conditioning here. You can see how premium everything looks and feels. This wheel, nicely stitched, good feeling. Although, quick side note, I did notice in my time with it that if the sun's beaming in from the left side of the car, this kind of chrome finish reflects right up in your eye. So not a great design feature there on the RDX, but that only happens sometimes, fortunately. I really dig all the aluminum, the nice leathers, everything's soft touch, it looks good. Very quality, every knob, every surface. It's probably one of my favorite interiors that I've been in, just from a vibe and a feel, if you will. Pretty straightforward controls. We got our wireless Apple CarPlay going, but everything's controlled through this trackpad, which in CarPlay and Android Auto you swipe around with. So if I wanted to go up to phone, for example, I'd swipe over and then up and click. But when you're in the normal Acura infotainment screen, this trackpad actually, where you're touching here, mimics what's going on up there. So if I wanted to go to top left navigation, I'd put my finger on the top left of the trackpad and click down, and it would load up the navigation. So a little bit of something to get used to. It's not my favorite system. Some people like it a little bit more than others. I think it works pretty well when you're static, but when you're driving, it can be tough to be on the exact right place of the screen that you want to click. Also, that screen's not very large. It's pretty far away. Not a big deal. I haven't really minded it, but compared to something like the NX that we were just in, it doesn't feel as futuristic. But I really like the HVAC controls. Very straightforward and easy to use, easy to get to. Nice to have a volume knob. I like this center console area, center storage. You got some grippiness, cup holders, wireless device charger down there. It's a fairly small pass-through. I don't think you'd be able to do any larger bags or purses, but phones and maybe a few other things work. Shifter right here, press the button, away we go. I had a commenter recently mention that they like the tachometer to be up while we're doing the reviews. Unfortunately for you, the RDX still features analog tachometer and speedometer gauges, so there won't be any taking away of the tachometer on this review. Big old panoramic sunroof, a little bit tinted. I like the way it feels in here. Another thing that's pretty cool about the RDX is a lot of seat adjustments. You have four-way lumbar support, but then you can actually control how tight your side bolsters are from that same control, and then below that you can adjust the length of the seat bottom, the seat cushion bottom. So I think that's pretty cool. The way the RDX has been vibing with me this week, oh gosh, it's the second time I've used that phrase. I can't say vibe anymore for the rest of this review unless it's going to become the hallmark term of the RDX, which really wouldn't be too bad, to be honest. But anyway, what's been sticking with me with the RDX is the fact that it doesn't really stand out in any which way. It dubs itself as a fairly sporty car, which, yeah, it's not bad, but it also has a 2-liter turbocharged engine compared to, oh, okay, you're just gonna go straight through, that's good. Compared to a lot of the more gutsy engine options in this class. For example, we've got the X3 M40i right now as well, and that car is truly fast and sporty feeling. Excellent driver's car in this class. This one's an okay driver's car, but much like the TLX, it is kind of let down by the 2-liter turbo. It just doesn't make for exciting driving. And it's like it can do it, competent going through the paces, but it doesn't excite you really. One piece of technology we are missing in the RDX is a camera rearview mirror. Again, a little bit more gimmicky. A lot of people probably don't even want to use it, but just compared to what you can get in some others in this class, it's not getting it here. Another way the RDX does not particularly stand out is fuel economy. Even though they are going with a smaller engine option than a lot of its competitors, we didn't see any of those big benefits on the highway. Only 26 mpg on premium fuel. Not fantastic. I mean, it is all-wheel drive, so that's good, and if you got the non-A-spec car, you might see an extra mile per gallon on the highway, but compared to some of those sportier cars and things like the NX that got 34 on our highway test, even though yes, that's a hybrid, but it costs just about the same as this car. Compared to things like that, you kind of got to wonder, could Acura have done a little bit better on fuel economy? I do have to say, though, it is very easy to settle into this car. It's a comfortable driving experience, and the steering wheel feels nice in the hand. It's good materials and a good feel. I like a tight steering wheel, even though this one is heated. It fits nicely in my hand. A lot of good places to grab it as well. Good places to put my elbows, too. Come up to oversteer. Let me turn the dynamic mode switch over to the right and get us into sport. Sport suspension or transmission as well. This does have adaptive dampers, so the suspension stiffens up. Steering gets a little faster, but you can see a lot of understeer. Those tires are not exactly sporty. A lot of fake engine noise coming through there. But it does not hold gears. So even though I am in S mode and I'm using the paddle shifters, once it gets up to red line, it is shifting for me. Doesn't look like it's got fully defeatable stability control either. What's going on? Oh, I'm manually shifted down. Forgot about that. Brake test. Very good. That 10-speed does a lot of shifting. Only once or twice throughout my week with it that I noticed some weird, rougher shifts that I wouldn't particularly be proud of if I were an Acura engineer, but overall the 10-speed does work pretty well, and you usually can't even tell it's shifting. not bad. It's not something that is really going to light your hair on fire. To me, it seems more like one of those cars that people buy because they like the idea of being sporty much more than they actually like being sporty. Something like the BMWs you could actually take onto the track if you wanted, or really hustle around some twisty mountain roads. This is more just, yeah, it's the A-Spec. It's the sporty one. Because it has paddle shifters. Yeah, I'm about 2 miles per hour below what I could do that on in the BMW, and the BMW is on winter tires. If that tells you anything. Alright, let's turn everything back down to normal. Get into comfort. This kind of bugs me with cars when there's a comfort mode and a normal mode. Why wouldn't you always want to be comfortable in normal? Why would I choose to be less comfortable? I never understood that. It's like, yeah, I get sport, but comfort and normal? Whatever. I was impressed by the quietness of this on the highway. If you do want to see a little more on that, check our highway fuel economy test. Link will be in the description. Even though the car didn't get the most fantastic fuel economy, it still was pretty comfortable and quiet. Not the most advanced active lane keeping system. It's more of just if you go out of the lane, it'll kind of nudge you sort of thing. Like you see it's holding itself right now, but it's not centering you in the lane. You can see we're starting to ping pong to the right. And what's it going to do now? Boom, I'm off right there. Dead. No sort of notification. So, again, things like the Lexus, things like the BMW, you can get a lot of those more advanced driver suite features. For $52,000, would I say this is missing on some of that? Yeah, we had a $52,000 or $53,000 Lexus NX that wasn't as exciting to drive, no, but it was very comfortable and very refined and had a lot of great features. I don't think the RDX really stands out in the way, but that's not to mean it's bad. It's in a very, very competitive class, which makes it tough. I mean, I think if someone came up to me and they're like, I really like the RDX, I think it looks good, do you think I should get one? I'd be like, yeah, go check it out, go drive it. If it's got everything you need, heck yeah, you can probably get it at a pretty good price as well. But if someone came to me and said, I want the best car in the compact luxury crossover class, what do you think I should get? I'd probably say, well, the Genesis has a lot of great features, it's really beautiful. The NX is very efficient with its hybrid and has a lot of great tech as well, new infotainment system. I'd say the Acura looks really good. I really like the feel of the interior. It's a nice car. It kind of reminds me of Volvos a lot, that people sometimes just buy them because they appreciate the brand. The other thing you have to consider is getting this over something German or something American. Probably going to be more reliable. I bet this thing's going to be dead reliable for a long time. What else? I would take it over a Mercedes GLC. I would probably take it over a BMW X3, although I'd have to look at a pricing sheet for a base X3 with the 4-cylinder. But I do know I really like that 4-cylinder motor in the BMW. I would probably take the NX over this. I would probably take the GV70 over this. What else? The Q5. I think I would take this over an Audi Q5. I'm not a big fan of the infotainment in the Q5. That's another car that has a 2-liter turbo though, and I like it a little bit better than this one. Volvo XC60 as well is probably one I would pick over this. I mean, this Volvo's not going to be nearly as reliable. The Acura is going to be much more straightforward and probably a more positive ownership experience, but I love the Bowers & Wilkins and Harman Kardon sound systems in the Volvo, and I love the way they look and feel and work, so it would be really tough for me. I'd have to look at the pricing sheets of both, but I'd probably go with the Volvo. Again, getting the 2-liter turbo. I do think the RDX would appeal to someone who's kind of over the gimmicks, though. They want a little bit more of a straightforward car. They don't want something that's going to try to drive itself and then end up breaking or failing, and they don't need the rear view mirror camera, and they just want a car they can get in, press D/S, and go on with their day. And you know, I'm not even just being kind of vanilla for the sake of being vanilla. I do genuinely think that the RDX is a good car. It's not a great car. It really doesn't wow. So, yeah, there's something to be said for that. Doing my best to try to find a place that's out of the wind. Unfortunately, it's very windy again today, so a lot of the places that we usually shoot get blasted with wind. I'm trying to get y'all out of that a little bit. And look at that engine start-stop button. It just looks so nice and feels so good. Very solid door, open and close sound. I know a lot of people like that. All right, the RDX, definitely a strong option. Maybe not a class leader, but don't fault it for that. Thank you so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the RDX, check the links in the description. We've got that ELS 3D Studio system review, a few other sound tests, and the highway fuel economy test. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.